Hello, my beautiful crack people. My name is Jael, and today we're going to be talking about beginner rock climbing injuries. So, this is going to be like a mini series. We're going to be talking about distinct rock climbing injuries throughout the various episodes that are going to happen, at least the most common ones for a beginner. Now, a fair share of warning. You might see like my eyeballs going up and down all the time, trying to read the script while I'm recording at the same time. I'm still trying to get the hang of all this, video editing and YouTube superstar rock climber extraordinaire life. Anyways, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, now bit of a fair warning before we get started here. I am by no means a medical professional, okay? If anything, I'm just a professional at getting myself hurt all the time for not following the proper procedures and listening to the voice of reason of others. But regardless, I've actually have a lot of experience being an athlete. I used to be an Olympic recurve archer for quite some time. And throughout that course, I learned a lot about injuries and how to avoid them while being an athlete. So, but getting that out of the way, regardless, I'm still some random guy on the internet, and you should always, always, always double fact check everything and see the sources of everything that you hear on the internet. And then after that, you can come up with your own educated conclusion after you read the articles. So I'm gonna do my absolute best to try to put down in the description the links that back up my discussions from credible sources. And maybe one or two Wikipedia articles because I'm too lazy to look for the original ones. But that's a completely different topic. So without further ado, let's start. So, you start the marvelous world of rock climbing. And then your mom is all like, "Oh, son, rock climbing? But that seems dangerous. You're all high up there. You can fall at any time, break a bone, maybe die. Oh, I don't approve of this sport." And then your dad is probably gonna be like, "Son, your mother has a point there. Oh, you should probably pick up a safer hobby, like collecting baseball cards like your old pops." Now, I'm probably doing some self-projection here, but your parents are in fact right. Rock climbing is a very dangerous sport that can and will lead to injuries throughout the time that you practice it. I mean, the package of most rock climbing gear says it. This is a sport that can lead to death. Seriously, most Black Diamond gear even says it. Go ahead, just search for one of their documentations of your Black Diamond gear and read it. But, regardless, you say to yourself,
"That sign can't stop me because I can't read."
so you proceed to rock climb. At the beginning, you're hooked. It's like drugs, man. Like, you just can't stop. You go day after day after day after day. And after a few days, ooh, something starts to hurt. Particularly here or here, in whichever arm. Well, congrats. We've reached our first rock climbing injury. And then the pain starts to get worse, and oh boy, does the pain get spicy. Well, the first common rock climbing injury is called lateral epicondylia. I'm 100% sure I butcher that. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it again. But basically, it's also known as tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, but I'll get to the differences in a second. So, Look at this diagram right here. Boom. I really hope I know how to edit pictures into the video. Now your elbow has two of these tendons, one here and one here. If the outer one hurts, which is also the lateral one, is called tennis elbow. But if the inner one right here hurts, which is called the medial one, then you have golfer's elbow. It's basically two terminologies for the same situation, but one of them is on the outside or the inside, yada yada, you know, doctors and their smartness. Now, this is a type of tendonitis, and as of 2016, we don't really understand the pathophysiology of tendonitis, which is really weird. Now, take a look at this other diagram that I'm going to post here somewhere on the screen, hopefully. That's your tendon. And what you're seeing is what appears to be like micro ruptures. And then eventually, if you keep, you know, not letting it heal, then that thing is going to rupture. Regardless, even if we don't understand 100%, we do know it's a real thing. The pain is more than real. I can assure you, I'm talking by experience. It's horrible. And you should avoid it at all costs for more than one reason. You see, constant stress on the tendon doing said activities will do nothing but rupture the tissue. And, well, a tendon that ruptures, it's a really, really bad thing, and it will lead to a really, really bad day for you. So, you're probably asking yourself, how can I avoid such a nightmare? Well, it's quite simple. For beginners, all you gotta do is take 2 to 3 days off after each climbing session. You see, tendons, just like muscles, when they undergo stressful loads, they have like these little, like, they rip a little bit, okay? And you want to give it those 2 to 3 days for it to heal just like a muscle would. But tendons have this weird thing where they heal very, very slowly, which is precisely the reason why you want to avoid this common beginner mistake. You don't want to reach the point of pain, okay? Because if you do, then it's not going to be 2 to 3 days of waiting it for heal. It's going to be maybe weeks, okay? Now, in most cases, 80% of people who do end up suffering from this pain usually get better with some remedies and stuff like that. But in 20% of cases, you have to go to a doctor, and you might end up having surgery. Now, no need to panic. If you already have pain, it's very unlikely that you will, you know, have to undergo surgery unless you did something really, really stupid. But you should be fine for the most part. Now, how do you treat this injury? Well, I'll get to that in a second. So the second thing you can do to avoid this common injury is to stretch before you climb. Now, when you stretch your muscles and your tendons, they become more pliant, and you're able to exert better forces on them, and they're less prone to get hurt. I'm going to place a video in the description of a really good, you know, stretching technique that you can do on your hands. But you mostly want to stretch and focus the most on your arms. These are your tools. This is your contact point with the wall. So keep that in mind. And then the third thing that you want to do to avoid this common injury is to always start at a lower level of rock climbing in the day. So if you want to go and send that 512A today, well, at least go climb 259s. You know, a level lower or two goes a really long way to start the muscles getting pliant and get the ball rolling, basically. All right, it's very important that you do this. I know you just want to reach a crag and hit that 512, and hell yeah, but don't do that. That is no bueno. Okay. Now, what if it's too late? What if I already have this excruciating pain and I just happen to come across such a knowledgeable and handsome rock climber that knows a lot about this subject that he read about like 30 minutes ago on the internet? Well, I'm glad you also asked. You're gonna rise that bad boy. Yeah, rise as in, the food. Now, rise is an acronym for R, which is rest, I, which is isit, C, which is compression, and E, which is elevation. So we're going to start with R. So the key to getting this thing fixed is just by resting. Like it or not, you have to rest that arm. Otherwise, it's going to get worse and you're just going to keep ripping those tendon fibers in there. Okay, so you have to rest. Now, after you rest, the pain might go away after a week. It's not healed, okay? A week is not enough time to fix a tendon. The least a month. And this is just completely wrong. You're actually supposed to wait up to 3 months in order for this thing to get fixed. At best, realistically 6. So, the second thing you want to do is you want to ice it. You want the swelling to, go down. So you're going to put some ice in there. The C, which is compression, is that you're going to have to look for a brace or a bandage that puts a lot of pressure in it. It'll give some support to the tendon. So when you do use the arm, it doesn't have to, exert that much more physical effort, even though you want to avoid using it at all costs. And then the other thing is elevation. You want to keep the arm elevated above your heart so the blood flows down with gravity, and that way it'll keep the swelling a little bit less. Okay, and then you just have to wait. That's all you got to do. That's how you fix this issue. And that's it. Sports injuries are a thing, but we can all do our best to try and avoid them by educating ourselves and making the proper procedures in order to avoid them. So, be very careful and try to avoid them. Also, always use your helmet when you climb, please. That being said, this is the part of the video where I shamelessly try to beg for likes and subscriptions, so just bear with me. If you can hit me with a like, a subscribe, and a share, that would be great. I'm trying to get this channel up and going with whatever small things I have. You should seriously see my setup. It's hilarious. And I would really want to, do this for a living, honestly. So if you could share with your local rock climbing group or the rock climbing chat that you have with you and your friends, that would be great, and I'll be very appreciative of that effort. And you can also check my social media, which is I'm gonna put my Instagram somewhere in the description too. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Please avoid injuries. Put your helmet on, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.